When we're young, we have an amazing, positive outlook about how great life is going to be, but somewhere along the line, we forget to dream and end up settling. Join Up Dots features amazing people who refuse to give up and chose to go after their dreams. This is your blueprint for greatness. So here's your host, live from the back of his garden in the UK, David Ralph.
Yes, hello there. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another powerhouse edition of the conversational, motivational, and sometimes a bit inspirational podcast, which is Join Up Dots. And we have got a guy on the show today. I'm absolutely delighted that he's on because he is a man whose rise to the top has been nothing short of remarkable. He went from a full-time insurance agent 4 years ago to building an e-commerce business that sold $20 million of physical products in 2016. Now, that's pretty good. Add to that he did this without using Amazon, eBay or Shopify, and with nothing more than simple two-page ClickFunnels websites that use carefully optimized sales funnels. Now, if you think that entrepreneurs are born more than made, you could well be right, because our guest got his start in entrepreneurship with a pool cleaning business at 16, has done everything from selling tea to selling hundreds of thousands of dollars of t-shirts on Teespring, and now selling 10,000 units per month across 20 different physical product lines. Today, he's built up an email list of 1.1 million subscribers and 300,000 buyers, and is selling the largest volume out of 50,000 ClickFunnels users. Now, in addition to his 8-figure business selling physical products, his passion is helping and mentoring others to have the same success in e-commerce that he has had. But of course, you need to have a direction right at the beginning and then overcome the heartache, stumbles and falls that knock so many people away from success like this. So was he just extremely lucky and didn't have any of these, or is he a guy that believes that persistence overcomes luck and talent every day of the week? Well, let's find out as we bring onto the show to start joining up dots with the one and only Trey Llewellyn. Good morning, Trey. How are you, sir?
What is going on, dude? That I gotta tell you right now is I need to transcribe that, because that was like the best Wikipedia description and biography about me that I think I've ever heard. Like, that was amazing.
You are all out there. You're all over the shop. And I must admit, it's funny. I get a lot of people asked to come on the show. Some people I asked for. I hadn't have heard of you until about 3 weeks ago. But now I can't get away from you. I always call it the pregnant woman syndrome, or the new car. You don't see the car until you think of buying a car. You don't see pregnant women until your wife's having a baby. And now you're everywhere, Trey. Everywhere I look, you're there.
Well, I love it. We're doing something right then. Bam. And by the way, we're all inspiration today. We're going to give a lot of motivation, and we're going to give a ton of inspiration. That's what I'm saying.
So I suppose the first question I've got to say to you, Trey, is this e-commerce business is easy, isn't it? It's a breeze.
I wish it was easy and it was a breeze. I mean, sometimes I think we make it look easy, but we definitely put our work hours in. That is for sure. I mean, it definitely didn't come easy by any means. Like it was rough, man. It was rough at the beginning because we didn't know anything. We had no clue what the hell we were doing, to be honest. I mean, I was an insurance agent, and doing that. So how's an insurance agent even learn about online marketing? And then secondly, my brother's being a police officer who knows nothing about Facebook ads, and we just kind of stumbled on some stuff, and we started building a fan page about guns. We were able to sell some shirts, and from there, the rest is history. It just started really, really springboarding success. It's pretty awesome, actually.
I remember reading a book, and it's always stuck with me, and it's The Millionaires of a Secret Mind. A Secret of a Millionaire's Mind by T. Harv Eker. And he tells a story at the beginning when he was struggling and he couldn't get anything going. He managed to get a one-to-one in front of a millionaire, and he said, look, whatever I do, it doesn't work. I just can't get it going. And the guy said, I can tell you what you need. And he thought, brilliant, I'm going to know it, and this is going to be my doorway to riches. And the guy just said, you don't know enough about the process. And that was it. And that's really stuck with me, because every guy that I speak to says at the beginning it was rough, and so they upskilled. True with you then, Trey. You upskilled, you stumbled across something, but then you learned more and more about those things.
You're exactly right. So I'll give you a great example, since we're just sitting here at a bar, is I was when I started, when I was like 16 doing the pool business, when I was 16 trying to sell tea, making no money, Pool business, yeah, I was absolutely making some money, some cash money. But then I went to sell tea, and then I went into insurance, and it was all hard. But here's the thing: is with all that, I never could find the mentor. And this is before podcasts. This was before Facebook. Like, we have so much at our fingertips now; it's unbelievable. But at that time, this was when like flip phones were on. Like the flip phones were cool at that time, and like there was no way to reach out to others and hear from them and know what they're doing, and it really was hard. And when I was young, I remember going to bed at night and saying, if there is ever a day that I am successful, that I become somebody or whatever that means, I'll be the mentor to others. And I got to say, it wasn't until how old was I? I was probably 26 when I found my first mentor. And I just happened to stumble upon it through a friend. They said, read this book. It's called 7 Levels of Communication, Michael Mayer. Read the book, started implementing. And the guy the author of that book took a liking to me. And we still talk today on a random basis. And
why
it's
did he, Trey?
What's that?
Jumping in, why did he take an interest in you? Because he must have got loads of requests.
He totally, yeah. And you know what? That's a great question, because I asked him the same thing. I was so excited. I was like jumping up for joy. I was like, because I got to meet him one day to sign the book. And I was like, hey, Michael, like, my name's Trey. I've implemented all this. And he's like, yeah, I've heard about you. I was like, what? You know who I am? And he's like, yeah. I go, dude, everybody needs to follow your book. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's step by step. And all he did, he didn't say a word. He held up 3 fingers. And I go, what's that? He goes, 3% implement. 3% only implement this book. I was like, wow. He goes, you're the 1% of the 3% who implemented everything. And I go, wow. And so because I followed his direction, because I went in and implemented and was motivated by him and inspired by him, he was inspired by me. And that's kind of where this relationship gathered. And from there, he introduced me to this guy named Sean Lynham. Sean Lynham introduced me to an event called With Garrett J. White, where I met this guy named Adam Spiel. And man, it just like kept growing and growing. And it just started like spiderwebbing out to all these mentors, the people I got to look up to and hear what they're doing in their business. And that's where the track of e-commerce really started, was by reading a book that wasn't even about e-commerce. It was about referrals. It was about how to do knee-to-knee, how to do insurance, on a daily basis. Pretty wild, right?
Absolutely. And so we have different levels of success. We have different levels of monetary satisfaction. Can you remember the first time that you thought, hang on, I'm doing all right here. I was a pool cleaner, but now actually I've got money to go out in the evenings. I've got a nice new shirt on. I'm doing all right. Can you remember?
Oh, I do remember. I'll tell you this though, is there's a time where a lot of, we think like in money, in difference of money. So like when I was in high school, in prom or whatnot, I probably had $200 in the bank account. Okay. And with that, if I spent $10 or $20, that was a lot of money. Like that was a ton of money. But now, maybe at $1,000 level in your bank account, spending $100 is the same to you as it was before at $20. It's amazing like how money in our minds is different at different levels. Like in college, $20 was a ton of money. And when your bank account's like now, like as an adult, it's like, I'd spend $20 in a heartbeat. It's really weird, right? You see what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying, but are you still connected to that 200 in the bank guy? Can you still see and taste and feel that guy, no matter how much your bank account explodes and the success that's coming your way? And it's all justified, and I wish you that it goes on bigger and bigger and bigger. But are you still connected to that, this is a lot of money kind of feeling?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, right? Like it always is. It's amazing. If you lose that, you'll lose it, because you have to be careful. You have to know. Like I had this guy named Mark Warren, a great mentor as well, and he saw in me what I didn't see in me yet, right? He saw the success coming, and it's pretty wild how people can see that in you. So he's like, whatever you do, I don't know what it's going to do, what you're going to do, or how you're going to do it, but when you get there, know what you're going to spend the money on. And I had no clue what he even meant by that. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, how would I even know what to spend the money on? And that really got me thinking. And I'm glad he punched me in the chest with that statement, because it definitely helped me when we did become successful, because I already had that thought seeded in my brain to say, you know what, don't go and spend it on cars and flashy things and watches and a new shirt. Go invest in assets that reproduce. And a good friend, Marty, always talks about making your dollars work for themselves. He calls them soldiers out in the field. But I want to make sure I answer the question you asked before we go on a tangent, which was, you're going to have to ask me the question again because I floated.
How connected are you? How different a person are you from the person now to the person that was? Because I found through Join Up Dots that when people totally get it, totally crush whatever they're into, they are closely linked to the very small version of themselves, the 5-year-old, the 6-year-old. There is a connection, a synergy between the person that would just do things when money wasn't involved. They then lose themselves because they're desperately trying to create a career and stuff, and then they come back to that early person.
Yep. Yeah, I totally get that, and I like to say that I'm still me. I haven't really changed much. There's still that inner child. There's still that inner thought. There's that inner love. And that's the cool thing is, we're a lot of people see us as a down to earth family, especially in the office here as our community grows inside our own facility. But as we reach out to others and show them what we have, I think they can see that too is, we're just down to earth. We're having fun and we're enjoying life and we're true. We're real. Like there's nothing fake about us. There's no, like scammy feel or like, I don't know who this guy is or boasted chest kind of thing. It's just like, we're kind of doing some cool things over here and you should too. Like we want you to be a part of it. And that comes again from my childhood where it's like, there was that day where I was like, if there's ever a day that I can be a mentor or just even give advice to somebody, like I'm in, I want to do that. And I think a lot of that time has come to now. That's why we're putting out videos. That's why we're putting out stuff to say, hey guys, this is what we're doing. It's really cool. You should try it. It's fun. It's pretty amazing.
Well, let's play some words now, and then we're going to obviously delve into the funnels, the money making, the e-commerce. Here's Jim Carrey.
My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
Now, what you're doing now, is it what you love or is it on the road to what you love? Are you building the dream to something bigger?
Well, first, that gets me fired up with that Jim Carrey quote because a lot of people have it wrong, man. A lot of people have it wrong. They're listening to this podcast right now. They might be at work. They might be on their way to work, like their job. And I had one of those. And the thing is they feel more secure with that job than going out and doing something that they love, that they're passionate about, that they get so much enjoyment and so much energy. They would spend every waking minute doing it, which is what I do. Because the realization about that, the reality of it, is their job is more insecure than going out and doing what they love, which is more secure. Does that make sense? You get it, right?
I get it, and I think every single person at their core understands it. But there's a fear factor, isn't there, Troy?
It's so much a fear because the thing is your job can let you go tomorrow. Right? They downsize, they move, they do something else. Their decisions don't make, they're not making decisions because of you. They're making decisions because of them. And when you have that in play, then you have a non-secure job. You could be let go tomorrow. But when you do something that you love and you make money from it and you have fun with it, that is something that is more pure and more secure than anything out there. Absolutely, hands down.
So let's talk about the funnels, because this is a way that people can start changing their life. And I have seen through the last 3 years of doing Join Up Dots, I have seen funnels that work amazingly. I've seen funnels that just die. And there seems to be an overcomplication. And people are frightened of it at the beginning, and other people think they've got to make amazing lead magnets and opt-ins. Tell us about it. How is it so simple for you? Do people overcomplicate it?
They absolutely do. We have a mastermind. And what does that mean? That means we take people on and we say, hey, we're going to train you to do what we do. And we get to look, it's kind of fun because we get to be a fly on the wall to when they join, and they're going to be like, oh, here's what I'm doing right now. And it's like, oh my gosh, like you're doing it, but you're not doing it the right way. I've built a funnel, I've built a sales page, but yeah, you did, but not the right way. And so, we didn't do it the right way the first time. Like, I would love to show you a picture of the first sales page we made. It is horrific. It is embarrassing. The crazy thing is it made sales, but it is down ugly to where I can't believe someone actually put their credit card information in that form, because you wouldn't catch me dead putting a credit card form in the form that we even created with our own hands. That's how ugly it was. But the thing is we keep it simple. We really do. We keep it super simple. And the one thing to making a funnel work is having them know, having a product that sells. We call it a market first approach versus a product first approach. A lot of people go out and they what they're doing is they show an audience of what they think will sell. They think something shiny, something that they like, something that they're enjoying, versus that's a product first approach. A market first approach would be going out and saying, hey, what are you buying right now? What are you having trouble with? What are you sourcing on Google? Because inside that niche, if a core of them is buying the same product, then the masses of that same niche will also buy that same product. They just haven't found it yet. And when you do that, when you go into a market first approach, your success rate goes from a 10% to about a 90 to 95%.
So let's just slow you down, because I know a lot of people are going to be scribbling, and one of the things they're going to be looking at is ideas. Is it better to sort of test the water by using something like ClickBank, where you can go over and find ready-made products, you can see the conversion rates, you can then test your funnels before you start building your own product? Or is it better to actually sort of market your own? What do you think?
You got to totally market your own, because if you go over to, like, ClickBank's a great way. If you know how to move traffic, then yeah, ClickBank, go for it. They have, we're on ClickBank and we make a lot of money from it, which is great. Like, ClickBank's really sweet. We love those guys. But at the end of the day is, if you're pushing someone else's product, you're not building a database, you're not building a list, you're not building a business, you're not building a sustainable business that's on a foundation. You're building I'm unemployed after this offer business. That's the business that you're doing when you push someone else's offer. When you push your own, you're building your company.
So we start with a sales page and somebody creates it. And of course, it's all about traffic. You can create the greatest funnel in the world. People go for organic traffic, where they will spend months and months and months. Is it that the right way to do it? Should they be doing that, or should they be paying for traffic, or is a combined approach right? What would Trey say?
Well, what I would say is you have to get in front of an audience, and we call it parades. So if that parade is on Snapchat, if that parade's on Instagram, if that parade's on YouTube, if that parade's on Facebook, wherever it is, get in front of it. Someone has already built the parade for you. You need to go out and get in front of that parade with your offer. I'll give you a great example. I learned this from a mentor of mine. His name's Carl White. I love that dude. And he instilled this in me, and he probably doesn't even know it, but it's just like, wow, that's so powerful. Where he taught me, when you get in front of a parade and sell them something, all the work's been done for you except for the conversion. And that's powerful, because to give you an example, with the July 4th, let's say July 4th parade's coming up, okay? And you know that in so many days, the parade's going to be there. There's going to be rallies. The crowds are going to be there. So your job is not to build the parade. It's already been built. Your job is not to build the crowd. It's already coming. Your job is to find out one product that's going to sell. And we do that through surveys. So we'll go out and survey the crowd. Say, like, we go on Facebook and target St. Louis, and we say, hey guys, you're probably going to be at the 4th of July parade downtown. What is your favorite beverage? What do you love to drink? Is it Coca-Cola, tea, lemonade, X, Y, and Z? And the survey comes back and it says tea. Perfect. So then I would go to Walmart and I would buy a crap ton of just tea. And then I would go to the parade and I would set up a stand that sells tea, because that is what people of that niche of the parade of the July 4th are buying and want to buy. Versus if I would turn around and go to what I like I enjoy Coca-Cola. Okay. I might enjoy green juice. So I think, well, if I enjoy green juice, everybody else is going to love green juice, which would be the wrong approach, which is what most people do, is they go to sell what they think is cool versus what everybody else says is cool.
So to sort of summarize it in a way that the people out there that maybe aren't clued up with these concepts, if you wanted to sell a product that Roman Catholics would like, you would take it to a Roman Catholic church. If you wanted to sell one that Christians would like, you would sell it to a Christian church. You don't go by what you like, you go by what the people would like and what they want. So it's almost congregations they're looking for, groups of people that are interested in that product. Is that right?
That's almost right. So instead of going to the Christians with a product, I would go without a product, and I would go to the I would go to Christian church, and I would sit down with their congregation, and I would say, guys, you guys are obviously all Christians here. Love it. I'm inspired by it. What is the one thing, like, what do you do right now that tells me that you're a Christian? Do you go out and buy bumper stickers? Do you buy the little fish that goes on the back? Are you buying pins? Do you buy crosses to wear on your necklace? Do you what is it? And they're going to raise hands. They're going to say, I wear necklaces. I put a sticker on my car. I have a license plate that says I'm a Christian. They might say, I love t-shirts. So we would see, okay, where's the majority of the crowd going? Like, where's the majority of the crowd pushing? Comes out to find out, maybe it's cross necklaces. So I'd say, okay, can you show me some of those cross necklaces that you've purchased? So they would all bring their cross necklaces to the front. We would look at all of them and say, okay, what do they all look like? Like, what do they all have in common? Is there any of the which that they have the most of, right? And are they silver? Are they gold? Like, what is it? And then we would see that and say, okay, this is the cross necklace that from the majority of this congregation they're buying. So we would go source that exact necklace and then push it to all the Christians.
So this is the bit that people probably skip over. They're so eager to get their product to the world that they just sit in a locked closet and then lick their finger, put it out the window, and then go for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid, isn't it, Trey? Bit stupid, I think.
Yeah. Some of them are going to be successful, right? Like, I can't say they're going to have zero success. Like, you're going to have, like, someone's going to get it, and it's going to be like, boom. Like, that's why Kickstarter exists. But on the other side, for everybody else, the 90% of the people that are going to do that, we don't do that. We do not do that. What we do is we go out, like I've been saying, is we go out and we find out what they're buying, and then we go sell that to them. That's it. And that's how simple we keep it. And that's how we've built our company over the last 4 years from zero to takeoff.
It is shockingly simple. And I know there's so many listeners out there going, yeah, I know he can say that because he's successful. He's got it going. It can't be as simple as that. There's got to be more to it. People will always be naysayers and doubt mongers, won't they? Yeah,
you'll have that. Mm-hmm. But it's the people, and that's where the Michael Mayer comes in, right? But the 7 levels of communication, where I read that book, is, they're people that the 97% of the people that read that book didn't believe it, right? They're like, this won't work. That's never going to work. That won't happen. His whole thing was writing power notes, just writing a little simple power note. And what that is just a little note, a note that goes to the person that referred some business to you. And it's like, hey, thanks. I cherish you. You're amazing. You have a great smile. Let's keep doing something special together here. And I was the only one writing those notes to people because everybody else thought it takes too much time. I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay for the stamps. No one's going to read them. What are they going to do? Just throw it away? But you know what? The magical thing is no one else did it. So when mine arrived, it was special. It was amazing. It was awesome. That where I got pictures from Facebook of people posting those to the refrigerator, on their walls, in their cars, when they got it in the mail. And guess what that did? That created organic reach to other people. Like, who's this Trey Llewellyn kid? What is he doing? What's this whole thing going on here? And I tell you, that's the reason. Is people have self-doubt, which is the biggest pitchfork or whatever you want to do in the arsenal of the devil, where he pushes self-doubt in you. And when you have that inside you, you're not going to go anywhere. You have to say, screw you, right? I don't need no self-doubt in me. I'm pushing forward. I'm doing this. I'm going to go implement this. Yeah, it sounds simple, and that's because it is. We don't want to keep it complicated. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated, so don't make it complicated. Keep it simple. follow that little procedure right there. We call them, go out and find out what people are looking for and try it. Go for it. What are you gonna lose? What are you gonna hurt?
So when did this this simplifying the system start to really come together? You started off with a web page that you say was an ugly one, and you're surprised that anyone used it. When did it get to a point when you say, hang on, guys, I think we're really onto something. It's going up exponentially here. Last month was 10 sales. Now it's 100 sales. We really need to look at this and almost break this system to work out what we're doing.
Okay, so I'll give you that exact moment. We started off selling t-shirts. We had our fan page. So guys, we had a fan page. It started with 1 like. Okay. When you start a fan page, it starts with 1 like. Like that's how it goes. It's probably you that's liking it, to where it grows to 10 likes. It grows to 20 likes. It grows to 1,000. Over the 4 years that we've been doing this, we grew it. It's grown to now 300,000 raving fans that love what we do. But here's the thing is, wow, Trey has a 300,000 fan base. Like, I'll never get there. We started with 1 like too, man. We started with 1 like. Like, understand that. Get that through the brain. But here's the thing is we were selling t-shirts to that fan page. And I was also selling insurance. Bryson was working as flipping steaks, and he's becoming a police officer. So we're selling some t-shirts, and we sold some, right? Like, we had $500 coming in, and my income at the time was $5,000 a month. So it was about 60 grand. I was making 60 grand a year. And then of course I had overhead. I had secretary, rent. So I realistically was probably making like 25 grand, but we're going to say 60 because that sounds cooler. So I was making 60 grand, and it came March. I remember March very, very well. And we hit $5,000 in shirt sales. And I was like, holy smokes, that's amazing, because that's the same amount that I'm making as an insurance agent. I've doubled my income. That's crazy. And so now the other crazy thing was I went to this event where they really just changed my belief patterns to where I was spending like $10 a day, and they pretty much made fun of me to where I wasn't pushing myself hard enough. And I came back from that event down in Palm Springs, Florida, and over the next 2 months, April, May, we pushed harder in our Facebook ads, to a point where I call it our first jet stream experience, to where like the momentum becomes bliss. It is so massive. The waves are so huge that it has so much momentum that nothing's stopping it. Like, it just becomes bigger. Well, we felt that in April, and we broke $117,000 in t-shirt sales. And there's a picture of actually me and my brother toasting to it with the big screen in the background, and with the sales just coming in. It was just amazing feeling seeing that. But here's the crazy thing is the thought that went through my mind was, we just brought in 117 grand, which is 2 years worth of hours, labor of putting into the insurance gig. And we just did it in a month. Realistically, I could take off 23 months and still have the same income as it would take me to be an insurance agent for the next 2 years. That blew my mind.
And it still blows your mind. I can hear the wonder. This is what interests me with you, Trey, that you haven't moved on from the person you were before. And that's why I think you're going to be so successful, because no matter how big it gets, how much money you get, you are still aware of the wonder of what you're doing.
It's amazing. Like, so like once you make like 20 grand a month, like, you're set. Like, making more than that, I don't know. Like, you can go out and do some crazy stuff, I guess. But realistically, you can like, money doesn't really matter anymore. Like, you can pay your bills, you can pay your rent, and you can have a car. And like, I'm not a materialistic kind of guy. Like, I don't need the watches. I don't need the shirts. Like, I just get to thrive from making a funnel that's successful, finding a product that can launch and be scalable. Because it's not like, yeah, the money is nice. It helps. But the thing is like, I get so jacked up when we have a funnel that's like, holy smokes, this is amazing. It's going to work. We're going to be able to scale this. It's going to be huge. Like, we can create jobs in St. Louis. We can, import stuff. We can create like income for the state. Like, it's going to be crazy, right? Like, that's the feeling that we get. And like, we were the United States Postal Service, United States Postal Service. When we were shipping out of St. Louis, they came to us and they told us that we were the second largest shipper in Missouri. Second largest shipping in Missouri from our class, where we were classed at, and that was from a mid code, which we were pretty high up in the class. So that said a lot. Like I was like, really? Like I didn't feel like we were doing anything, and I still don't feel like we're doing anything today. Like the drop that we are putting in this ocean of our lives that we have in front of us is so minute, so small to really just understand of like what's out there. And I'll give you a great example is like when I go flying, like if I'm like this week, I have to go to Germany. And so we're going to fly out to Germany, and I love flying. I don't care if it's 10 minutes or like 12 hours because I get to look out the window. And when I look out that window, I say to myself, if you can just carve out that little piece of that city right there that you're seeing, that's it. That's all you need. That's enough. That's a big enough crumb to have a lifetime of memories happen. And you're flying at 500 miles an hour over city after city after city. But when you can just take those little segments over land and say, man, if I could just sell an item to just those houses right there, I'd be set. But look at now, and then take the vast of the United States to the whole world. Like what we're doing is nothing compared to what we could be doing.
Do you know, that is a fascinating story because I had the same realization, I don't know, about 2.5 years ago. Where I live in the United Kingdom, we have a castle nearby us, and it's a bit of a relic, but it's where Henry VIII, one of our famous kings, used to live back in the day. And we go up there, and I love it up there because it's very windswept and open, and if I've had a bad day, it blows the cobwebs away. And as I was starting to get my business going, I was looking out at all the houses in the distance, and I looked at them and I thought, right, how many products do I need to sell to be fully viable financially? And I thought I need to sell maybe 10 a month. And then how many does that work out per week? Okay, 2.5. That's fine. So just those 3 houses there, I'm sorted. But look, there's another 3 houses, and there's another 3 houses. And I had that same abundant realization. And even though I had that, it still took me about 1.5 years to actually implement it because I had the vision of it wasn't that hard, but I went about it the wrong way. And so your mentors, your mentorees who come through your program, I imagine that they have those layers of dawning realization. They come into it and they want to learn everything, and then they realize it's possible, but then it's that next stage. That is the slipstream, isn't it? That's the jet stream, that next bit. How long do you think it would take somebody joining one of your mentor programs to get into that jet stream?
That's a good question. We could have a whole nother podcast about that question, because here's the thing: is it really depends on where they're at, of course, right? But at the beginning, it's, you know, we don't teach, like, I'm not going to mentor someone a get rich quick scheme. Like, that is not what we do, and that's not what we teach, because I don't even know how to teach that, and I wouldn't want to. What we're teaching is here's how you build a business. Here's how you build a brand. Here's how you build something that will last a lifetime, that has a foundation with pillars on top that can hold you and support you through the good times and the bad times. Because the guys that are selling on Amazon, yeah, they're making some good money, okay? But Amazon controls them. They can't even call them. They can't mail them something. They can't even insert a little piece into the mailing that goes out. Like as soon as Amazon or somebody else comes and jumps in on their product, they're unemployed. Same thing with, like, okay, Shopify. If you're on Shopify, you don't have any back end. Like, you don't have back end pieces where you can go and put other little trinkets inside, like a continuity program where you get recurring income and things like that. So to get to that jet stream, you know, you definitely have to have a funnel in place. You have to know your numbers to make sure that it works and that it's scalable. But man, once you have that funnel, Russell Brunson always says this, love that guy. He goes, you know, you're only one funnel away. And, you know, I don't want to be, what are those guys called? Like a one track record. I always joke about it, where like they had one track, it was famous, and then they like didn't have any more famous records come out. Like we want to make sure that we're always never that person, right? Like we always got a new song coming out. It's a top hit on the top 100 list. Like it's meeting all the criteria. It's amazing. And we keep hitting those jet streams because then we know our system works and we know it works. Like that's one huge thing. So I guess what I'm getting to is the amount of traffic, the amount of eyes, the amount of people that is out there is like no one has a traffic problem. It is unlimited. It really is. And I know there's only so many people on the earth, but there's so many people being born every minute and so many people dying every minute. Like there's a rotation, guys, to where, it's amazing of when you have a product that can be alerted to like the masses, that thing is so scalable to hit those jet streams. It still blows my mind to this day because I still can't grasp it. I still can't get a hold of it because it is so large. It is so big. And it's just amazing the opportunity, you receive when you do it right. And it's out there. It's out there. You just got to have faith.
Did you get exhausted, Trey? But building a business obviously is peaks and troughs. There's times when everything's going your way, and then there's times that you feel like you're just trying to push against a closed door. Now, is your energy always on the up, or do you have slump days when you think, guys, we're not getting any further on this?
Oh, absolutely. We got a couple sayings around here. One saying is, we are always and we will always be a speedboat. We will never be a cruiser. We will never be a cruise ship because a cruise ship takes 5 miles to turn around. A speedboat, whoop, you're around, right? So we always talk about how we're a speedboat, and we always talk about how we have a zero resistance atmosphere, which means we use Macs. They don't crash. They're always running. Like my Mac, I feel sorry for it because I run that thing so hard. It's got to be breathing heavy by the end of the day. We have whiteboards. I mean, walls. I'm talking walls of whiteboards that, you know what? Hey, Dave, yeah, you got an idea? Yeah, man, let's go grab a whiteboard real quick on the wall and just drop that out. So there's zero resistance, right? Like, so an idea, you got an idea, let's rock. Like, let's make that happen. But yeah, there's days where I feel like we're sitting still, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, we got to get something. Like, okay, let's put something together. Like, let's rush, let's go, let's move. Because if we don't move, someone else is going to move and they're going to get ahead of us. And so I think we're always chasing our own tail, which is fine because, we're our biggest competition because I'm looking at us and I'm saying, we're not moving fast enough. We got to move faster. Like we got to create more. And I'll give you a great example is there is only so much time in the day. But the idea of that is the president of the United States has the same 24 hours that you and I do. He also puts his pants on the same way you and I do. Saying that is we have to make each minute count. And I do my best to make that happen to where, we show up early to work. We get here, 7, 8 o'clock, work through the day. I don't take breaks. I don't take lunch, which doesn't mean I don't eat. I actually supplement my lunches, which means I'll drink proteins and carbs. So I have a carb supplement and then I have protein supplements. So my lunch is about a minute and a half of chugging a protein shake. And, I have all my vitamins, I have all my proteins, I have all my carbs that gets me through the day versus a lot of people are like, hey, you want to go to McDonald's? You want to go to Burger King and take 20, 30, 40 minutes of our day and just, relax. And so that's the kind of, mentality I have is I'm afterburners. Like we're not running out of jet fuel. Like we're on afterburners at 5 a.m. waking up. We go to work out. We get our workout in and it's off to the races and there's no slowing down. We don't take breaks.
And you use we all the time. Could you have done this on your own? Obviously, people are so much more successful once they've got a team around them. Could you be doing it on your own, Trey?
Good Lord, no. There's no way. Like that was probably one of the biggest learning curves that I still have trouble with it today, but I do my best. I really try really hard. And I push myself to try this, but that's delegation, because I guarantee you on the call right now, listening to this is, you are going to do it a one way and you're probably going to do it the best way. But in order to scale and, become big in this life, you have to delegate. You have to trust in others. They're not going to do it right the first time, probably not the second or the third time either. And you might get a little frustrated at times, and I do too. to where they will learn, and they will learn how you want to do it, and they're going to add their own little flavor of life to it as well. And that's just kind of the balance of creating a company. And I've been through those struggles, right? Like the ups and downs, trying to teach people how to build a funnel. Like, how does that even work? How to source products, let alone with the mastermind. So yeah, we have those big things. But here's the deal: is I was talking to let me tell you a story real quick. Is I was talking to one of our good guys. He makes labels for us, some of our stickers that we send out to our members. And I was like, man, dude, like you're building a business, man. And he's like, yeah, I know, I love it. He goes, I almost can't just keep up. I'm having a hard time keep up. And I go, well, why don't you hire somebody, like that can print stickers? Like, that can't be too hard. He goes, but that sounds like profit sharing to me. And I was like, wow, he doesn't get it yet. He sees as hiring people as having to share profit with them. And I was like, holy smokes, that is like such a big roadblock and a limiting belief that's going to crush him. And because here's the thing is again, another mentor of mine, he said to me, he goes, Trey, let me ask you a question. And I said, okay. He goes, would you rather have a half of a grape or 25% of a vineyard? And I was like, wow, I want 25% of a vineyard. He goes, exactly. Go out and be big.
Yeah, but wouldn't anyone say that, Trey? Surely, I would think, wouldn't they?
Well, the guy making stickers didn't, because they just want their grape. They want their grape. They don't want the vineyard.
I'd negotiate and go for 50%. Well, let's play some words now from a guy who said these back in 2005, and they created the whole theme that is Join Up Darts. This is his true legacy, Steve Jobs.
Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference.
Your story seems to be one that fits into those words quite nicely.
I agree.
When you look back at your life, Trey, we always ask this question first of all, so I'm going to ask it, but then there's going to be a back step question. What is your big dot? When you look back on everything, what was the moment, the conversation, the realization that really took you where you are today?
Big dot. Well, I don't know. That's a hard one. Because I think like all the little dots add up to a really big ass dot, to be frank. Because what's so funny is I do that. Like, I do that to this day. I'm like, the reason I'm able to do what I'm doing today is I look back, I was like, because of this exact situation or that exact moment, like I learned this piece. Like when I was growing up, I was a waiter at Golden Corral, and I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to not just talk to Christians or Catholics, but I learned how to talk to everybody. People who were, wealthy, people who were broke, people who were poor, people who came from different backgrounds, people who were of different race. Like I learned how to talk to each individual. And by knowing like how to learn how to talk to personalities, I'm able to talk to them to this day really, really well and like figure out that momentum. Sales, right? I go back to, the pool business or doing tea, like just learning the street smarts of what it is to sell on the street. Your business, your pool business, like learning that at such a young age catapults you so far into the future to where you're able to use those same strategies and those learning curves, in today's world, when 10 years later. So it's like all these little dots. You're exactly right. Like I look at my life in the back in the rear end and say, wow, that happened because of this, or that happened because of this. Like, how crazy is that? Like, whoa, right? Or I went into this field to become this. Like I went into engineering. I went to 5 years of engineering school, tough school. I became an electrical engineer, graduated with paper, but realistically I would have had 3 degrees, which have been computer engineering and computer science. because I first went for comp sci. But the thing is I didn't learn anything about circuits. I didn't learn anything about coding, right? I learned from Rolla how to problem solve. That is what they teach you. They teach you through different techniques and ideas of learning circuits and code and stuff like that and algorithms. But really, from the 30,000 foot view, they're realistically teaching you how to solve problems really, really, really well. And guess what? Guess what is also problems is funnels. Funnels are made of problems. And I think that's why I'm so good at tinkering and figuring out why they're broke. And I can see 3 levels down, right? Like, okay, this broke, but it's because of 3 levels down in code. That's why that's breaking. And so that mentality really helps me get through really fast on why a funnel might not be performing the way it is because of that dot 10 years ago now from graduating from Rolla teaching me how to problem solve.
And linking back to the introduction, we had a question, but it's right to ask it just before we push you on the Sermon on the Mic to have a one-on-one with your younger self. But do you believe that persistence overcomes luck and talent every day of the week? That was the question we asked right at the very beginning.
I'm definitely persistent. And of course, I always lacked the talent because you have to grow the talent. So if you lack the talent and don't have the talent, but you're persistent to learn the talent, yeah, I think so. I believe so, because that's one thing that people talk about. I was actually in my high school. I was voted out of all things most outgoing, and like I kind of told you already, is it's kind of funny when people can see something in you that you don't see in yourself yet. And as a class of 300 classmates, they picked me as the most outgoing. Isn't that wild? And little to know where we would be today. It's just crazy to think of. So since that day, yeah, I've been persistent. I've woke up with, God's given us this day. Let's make it something. Let's show them what we're up to.
Powerful words, as I'm sure we're going to hear some even more powerful words, because this is the part of the show that we call the Sermon on the Mic, when we're going to send you back in time to have a one-on-one with your younger self. And if you could go back in time and speak to the young Trey, what age would you choose and what advice would you give? Well, we're going to find out, because we're going to play the theme, and when it fades, you're up. This is the Sermon on the Mic.
Here we go with the best bit of the show, the Sermon on the Mic, the Sermon on the Mic.
So, man, I'm glad we got this opportunity, because I've had this opportunity recently, actually, was to sit down and see my old self. But it was cool because, when I was growing up, being 16 and having a lot of fun, I was also driven, but I didn't know my why. I didn't know where I was going or what I wanted to be. I was money conscious. But the thing is I didn't have that mentor. And now being able to be that mentor to my younger self, I would say this, which is no matter what the naysayers say, no matter, what your beliefs are, the thing is always believe in yourself, because that is the most crucial piece to pushing yourself. Always know that you are the greatest person here, and you are you, and that's all you can be. You can't be anybody else. That's it. So you go be you, do what needs to be done, and become somebody. Do something right. Do something for others. And it's going to be huge. Like, that is huge to just have that in yourself, in your soul, and make it shine, go through the battles, go through over the limiting beliefs. You're going to get crushed. You're going to get pushed down. You're going to get hit, but stand back up, wipe the dust off and keep pushing forward. Be a lion, be somebody who's out there that's ready to crush and ready to take on the world. Invest in Google. That would have been smart, but you won't have the opportunity to do that. Other than that, life's life, and you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. But the beauty thing is every day, every single day, you get to wake up. Doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter where you're at, what you're doing. You get to wake up. God's giving you that day, and it's a beautiful day. Go make the best of it.
Trey, what's the best way that our audience who have been listening today can connect with you, sir?
Oh man, I'm still deep in my sermon. So thinking about it, you really put me in my zone. So here's the thing: is there's a couple ways they can go to TreyLlewellen.com, but here's the thing: is Dave, when I was getting started, there was nothing like out there to start. Like it's kind of like a blank slate, and I kind of want to do something a little special for you, maybe actually for your audience today, which would be I would like to give them one of our biggest funnels. It's an oil funnel. We've sold some gun oil on it, but basically it would allow them to download that funnel, the upsells, the order page, and just kind of have it. They can use it as a tool. They can look at it. They can have fun with it. They can, I don't know, sell with it, put their own products in it, but it'll just give them a template to start with. Do you think they'd like that?
I think they would love that. Yeah, very generous indeed.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's do that. We'll do MrOnIt.com/dots, DOTS, and they can go there and grab it. It's free, just for them.
We will have all the links on the show notes. Trey, thank you so much for spending time with us today, joining up those dots. Please come back again when you've got more dots to join up, because I do believe that by joining up the dots and connecting our past is the best way to build our futures. Trey, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Trey Llewellyn. Now, honestly, you listen back to that show. Not only did we cover mindset or structure, marketing, there was so much in that. But the key message I really want you to think about is the fact that there is traffic everywhere. There is abundant traffic. No matter where you are, you walk down your road, you will be seeing people. You walk into another town, you'll be seeing people. There is traffic everywhere. And it doesn't matter if somebody else is doing what you want to do. There is enough crumbs from those pies for you to just make a lovely living. Absolutely there is. But it takes time for you to totally believe that you're not taking money off of anybody else, you're just taking money that's waiting there for you. I hope you will download that from the website. Go over to Join Up Dots and download that, because believe me, that is value.
David doesn't want you to become a faded version of the brilliant self you were once to become. So he's put together an amazing guide for you called the 8 Pieces of Advice that every successful entrepreneur practices, including the 2 that changed his life. Head over to joinupdots.com to download this amazing guide for free, and we'll see you tomorrow on Join Up Dots.